there, I want to do a video to supplement the live video that I did yesterday on relationships and how to have a healthy relationship after being in an abusive relationship or toxic relationship, specifically one with a narcissist. I will tell you from the start that I had a 4-year relationship with a narcissist who was very toxic, and the relationship was very abusive. It was more emotionally abusive than physical, but it had a combination of both. I remember speaking to my counselor one day with regards to my fears about leaving that relationship. And when she asked me, like, what do you fear with regards to leaving this relationship? I told her, like, some of my fears is that I fear that I may never be able to love someone as much as I thought I loved him or I loved him. I may never be able to have that same euphoric feeling that I've had with my relationship with him, of course, when the times were good. And I felt like maybe I just wasn't worthy of love, and that there was no one that could actually love me like I wanted to be loved, like I needed to be loved, like I deserved to be loved. And so those were my fears, and those are the fears that I told my counselor about. Well, I can tell you that those fears were definitely unfounded. When you're in a relationship, specifically an abusive relationship, we have to seriously remember or think about the fact that abuse changes the chemicals in our brain. Our whole entire mental landscape is changed by being in an abusive relationship. Now, there are 4 chemicals in our brain that kind of contribute to this, and I won't go into detail about those chemicals. You can actually find them in my group. I've posted the link to an article describing exactly how those chemicals work. But what I will tell you is that in a toxic relationship, those chemicals become deregulated. They're kind of just all over the place. They're not regulated like they would be in a normal relationship. And that's due to the fact that we're in a toxic environment, and everything around us concerning that relationship is toxic. And there are toxic things that are happening in that relationship. So the ups and the downs of that relationship contributes to it. The times where they're acting really, really nice to us and then really, really mean to us. Those things are all impacting the chemicals in our brain, and they're actually changing the structure of our brain and how our brain responds normally. So our brain no longer is responding normally once we get out of a toxic relationship. So that's the first thing to remember. So to have those feelings of not being able to love someone appropriately, not being able to love someone as much, not being worthy of love, those are all attributed, or can be all attributed to how those chemicals in our brain is making us respond to the fact that we are no longer with someone that we have trauma bonded to, that we're no longer with a toxic partner. And so all those things come into play. What we have to do if we want to get to the point where we can have healthy relationships after being in a toxic one, is that first we have to change our mental landscape. And we can change our mental landscape by doing several things. One of them is by being socially connected to people that are going to empower us, that people are going that are going to remind us of how special we are, around people that are going to be positive and just give us positive feedback when we need it. We have to have ourselves surrounded by people that are going to uplift us, empower us, motivate us. One of the activities that my counselor had me do was she had me go and ask people in my family, ask my children, all of them to write something about me that they admired. And I asked even my ex-husband, hey, can you write something? I'm doing a activity in my counseling. They want you to write something that you admire about me, or write something, that a quality that you believe I have, something. And I got all this positive feedback, things that I was not even expecting from my children. They were saying, I mean, a lot of times you expect your kids to say, I have a good mom, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, they were actually going into details as to why they thought that I was this amazing person, why they admired me, why they thought I was a good mom. My ex-husband talked about my strengths, why it was that he thought that I was this strong person. I had other people that provided feedback talking about all my accomplishments, and it was just a reminder to me of all the things that I've done and I've gotten through and I accomplished in my life. And so those are some of the things that you have to do, those positive reinforcements to change your mental landscape, so you can start to think like, hey, no, there isn't anything wrong with me. I am a good person. I'm a person that's worthy. I'm a person that should be valued. I am someone that deserves to be treated like a human being, because we all deserve to be treated like a human being and like we are worth something. So that's very, very important. Once you start to do this, you can get in your mind, you can start internalizing the good qualities of you. Now, I want to tell you something else. Remember, you have to remember that if you were in a relationship with a narcissist, that narcissist was mimicking at the beginning of that relationship, during the love bombing stages, they were mimicking the love that they knew you to be able to give. They were mimicking your compassion. They were mimicking you, all the good qualities of you as a person. And that's why they chose you. They chose you because they chose someone that they knew was compassionate, that they knew was empathetic. They chose someone that they knew was loving, that they knew was caring, that they knew was self-sacrificing. Those are the type of people that narcissists choose. So when you think about it in that manner, you should know that you have positive attributes that make you deserving of love, deserving of being treated appropriately, deserving of being treated just like a human being, because narcissists don't treat us like human beings. But when you think about it in that manner, it allows you to reinforce, again, this concept of positive and of the positive attributes, the positive qualities that you have as a person. And then you can internalize those positive characteristics. Once you begin to internalize those positive characteristics, you will realize that, yes, you are capable of loving people because you've been doing it your whole life. You've been empathetic your whole life. You've been caring your whole life. You've been compassionate your whole life. You are able to do this. You are able to do all these things. You are able to love someone beyond the normal depths of love, because that's just who you are as a person. And then you will also begin to realize that you deserve the love that you want. You will get the love that you want, and you are valued. Once you begin to realize these things, everything else will fall into place. You'll find someone that is going to treat you right. You'll find someone that's going to love you. You'll find someone that's going to think the world ends and begins with you, and it will be in a healthy manner. It won't be a toxic relationship. It won't be one-sided relationship. It won't be where a person is nice to you one minute and mean to you the next minute. Thank you for listening.